Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes. Aquí tienen el horario para hoy, lunes, el 14 de febrero. Feliz Día de San Valentín. Your homework due for today was to make an initial post and peer responses to the discussion associated with the documentary that we watched in last class, Our New Normal. We're going to get back to work, if you will, after the week break, mental break. Learning targets for today are to express completed actions in the simple past tense. So we're going to wrap up our work that we were focused on before we took the 1 week pause. Your warm-up for today is to use your notes on the preterite tense. So you're going to refer to that preterite note sheet that I had given y'all at the beginning of this chapter. You can click here and it'll take you to that sheet. Thus far we have filled in the regular endings of AR and ER and IR verbs, and then also at the very bottom how Kargar Zar verbs look in the yo form, the spelling changes. Those are both articulated on page 110. So we're going to go back to that, and you guys for your warm-up for today are going to share 3 things that you guys did over the 3-day weekend. So coming up with vocabulary verbs that you're already familiar with, express those in the preterite tense using those endings that we were looking at the previous couple weeks. So for example, el fin de semana pasado yo pasé tiempo con mi novio, comí comida coreana y estudié para mi clase de química. And you have there what the verbs are in the infinitive. And you can see they're highlighted, the endings used. All of these, 2 of them are AR verbs, 1 of them is an ER verb, so the different endings according to the type of verb. So we're going to briefly review those notes on page 110, make sure everybody's good, and then we'll take a look at the music video. This is how we do it, just to refresh ourselves of those endings and kind of embed them further in our minds. We'll do a little reading practice on pages 112 and 113, 112 y 113, a really brief timeline on the history of textiles. All the way back to the year 1000, textiles originating in Latin America, and then the evolution and transition into the Western world. So the questions that we're going to answer in small groups: ¿Qué cosa usaron los indígenas precolombinos para hacer sus telas? What thing or device did the pre-Columbian indigenous population use to make their fabric? And you're going to refer to the timeline to see if you can find that answer. We're looking for something that the indigenous populations used. ¿De qué estaban hechas? What were they made of? Their textiles, their material. Number 2, ¿cuándo empezaron a usar los indígenas la lana de oveja en sus telas tradicionales? So when did the indigenous population, indigenous meaning local or native rather, when did the natives begin to use wool from sheep in their traditional clothing and textiles? ¿De dónde vino esta lana? Where did that wool come from? And then lastly, ¿quién inventó la desmotadora de algodón? Who invented the cotton gin? ¿Y cómo cambió esta invención la industria del algodón? How did that change the cotton industry? So a lot of these you can just use the question and then rephrase it in the form of a statement, or you can just pull straight from the text where you think the correct answer can be found. The last thing that we'll do today is we'll start your homework, which is guided workbook pages 83 and 84, páginas 83 y 84, y core workbook page